People who won a lifetime supply of a product. What did you win? How did you win it? And are you still receiving said product? Before we start with the first story, please hit subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Story 1. Unfortunately, not a lifetime, but a year's worth of donuts from a local restaurant. They specialize in audacious donuts during their brunch hours and held an ugly Christmas sweater contest during a brunch in December. They called to tell me I had won and to come and pick up my prize after the holidays. It was a punch card for getting a free donut each week of the year. We went ahead and took advantage of the freebie while we were there, and I enjoyed what would surely be one of many free donuts that year. Yes, 2020 was lining up to be a real winner. Story 2. I won a trivia thing from a radio station in 2015. The prize was a lifetime supply of passes movie candy from AMC Theaters. They gave me a gift card looking thing to show at AMC that allows up to $40 in snacks for free plus admission. It's been almost 10 years and this card still works. It saved my butt so many times when I was struggling financially. I could go get dinner or sit in air conditioning for a few hours. I'm honestly shocked that it's still valid, but it's probably the best thing I've ever won in my life. Story 3. Donuts. I get 365 donuts a year from a local donut shop in my hometown. I give them to a children's home who in turn gives them to kids on their birthday. It was a smart move by the donut shop because to make sure everyone gets their fill, I paid a double the order, plus I get them juice and milk. I won this 16 years ago, and they have always honored the prize. This happens monthly. I paid the difference for 8 dozen donuts plus orange juice and milk every month. The donut place has embraced this and handles everything, and I just foot the bill. If I hadn't been on a no-carb phase in my life, I'd probably be eating them instead of giving them away. B2. If you ever struggle with gift giving, find a children's home and donate a birthday cake in honor of someone's birthday. A lot of them have some kind of program like this, and you might be giving some unfortunate child the first birthday cake they have ever had. Story 4. Close friend of mine won 2 things. He won a year's supply of Narragansett beer, which was one delivery of 24 cases of beer. He had to give a lot of it away because he doesn't drink more than a few beers a month, and it goes to the bad in a few months. Basically, he gave all of his friends a couple cases of beer. Same guy won a lifetime supply of Texas Pete hot sauce. They delivered a pallet to him. Doesn't seem to go bad. We still use it 18 years later. A car dealership where I work gave away lifetime oil changes with new cars in the 80s. For a while, people were changing their oil every 500 miles and not doing the filter. So there was luckily fine print that said the terms can change. So it became 1 oil change every 3,000 miles with the purchase of a filter. Still a decent deal. It was a $15 oil change with filter into the mid-90s when I stopped working there. From what I heard, there were still people bringing in 85 Trans Ams with 200K miles in 2008 when the dealer closed, getting oil changes for $25 or so. Story 5. I won a lifetime supply of corn nuts during a promo for their pepperoni pizza flavor. I assumed that this would have been like a laminated card that I could take to a convenience store and say, nah, the corn nuts are already taken care of. No. I got 6 giant-ass boxes of packs of corn nuts in various flavors, pepperoni pizza being the absolute worst. After a couple of weeks, I was giving corn nuts to anyone who would cross my path and would entertain a snack that resembles the consistency of human teeth. I wondered how they came up with the appropriate number of boxes to be considered a lifetime supply. I can say that after that experience, I never want to see another corn nut again, so I would consider it to be a lifetime supply. Story 6. I didn't win it, I accidentally bought it. Some years ago, I wanted to make the garden a bit prettier. I checked on some auction sites and someone offered a leftover batch of chalk to improve the soil. We agreed I would pay €30 shipping included. 3 days later, a delivery guy arrived, completely pissed off, banging the door and shouting, "Why would I let this be delivered by a standard parcel delivery service?" I didn't have a clue what he was talking about until he showed me the packages. Apparently, the seller sent me 8 30 kilograms bags of chalk. I require about 5 kilograms of chalk a year for my garden. With the 240 kilograms of chalk I got, I can last almost 50 years. By the time I'm out of chalk, I would be over 100 years old, which is an age not that many people will become, let alone while still gardening. Bottom line, for €30, including shipping, I now have a lifetime supply of chalk. Story 7. In college, my wife won a lifetime supply of Red Bull in one of those tag things, the one where you build your own downhill snow sled. She got thrown clear from her team's sled, knocked out, and had a wicked injury, fully recovered though, all on video. The lifetime supply was easily 12 years worth if you had one a day, but college kids gonna college, and it was half gone within 4 years of winning it, LOL. Story 8. Not me, but a relative of mine bought a closet full of extra-large half-gallon mugs from Dunkin' Donuts in the mid-90s. The cups were sold at a premium with a contract stating that the user was entitled to a 99-cent fill-up of any beverage for life. His thinking was that he'd be able to save thousands over the next decades by getting iced coffee by the gallon and never paying more than $1. A few of the cups have worn out or been destroyed, but he still has many left. He's pretty well known by all the local dunks now. Anytime he goes to a new location, he has to explain the situation to a barista, the manager, and then escalate to corporate. Some stores won't honor it even with proof from corporate. Most of the baristas are younger than the cups themselves. Story 9. My grandma had an awesome sense of humor. We were all with her the days leading up to her dying at 93 in her own home. It wasn't particularly sad. We were celebrating her life. At one point, she was lying in bed and held up a half-full box of the candy Tic Tac and said, "Lifetime supply." Since people are responding so positively, here's another story about my grandma Shirley. She was born during World War I, and throughout her life, she saw the rise of the automobile, airplanes, TV, computers, the internet. Of all these inventions, what did she think was the greatest one? Her answer was Kotex, because you don't know what life was like before them. Story 10. This is not technically something I won, but when I got braces, my mom somehow managed to get them to write "free retainers for life" in my file. I have since had dental work done in other places and moved to a different area, but if one of my retainers cracks or gets worn, I still contact them for an appointment. I think the orthodontist who wrote it is long since retired. The receptionists are always confused when I call and say that's not a thing they offer, but I insist they pull my file, and when they see it, they end up honoring it. Even if one day I call and my file is not there anymore since I was a patient so long ago, it's probably saved me thousands of dollars over the years. Story 11. Pentel pens in a writing contest. I won 30 years ago. I got an engraved executive when I won, but I also get a 12-pack of Energils a year, 2 alloy barrels, and 1 libretto. They usually send me a 3-pack of any new pens or colors coming out too. I've been to their headquarters and factory in Japan. I explained who I was and what I had won, which they verified with order and shipping history. I got to take an in-depth tour with a SREF P and got sets of drafting pencils, graph gear sharps, unique Japanese pens, and an original 1962 sign pen. I had one when I was younger. Several years later, I was there training judo. I literally walked into their building to the receptionist and explained. A man came out, took my info and story, then left. He came back with some papers, which turned out to be a copy of every shipment they'd sent. He was surprised I was telling the truth. He went and got the SREF, and with my friend translating, we had a great time. They were still making some of their best fountain and executive pens by hand, and that was 1999. Story 12. I was one of like 50 people who won a lifetime at the movies contest back in 2010 from Marcus Theaters. They gave you a sleek black card with an embossed metallic red M on the front with Lifetime VIP under it. On the back was an account number and my name. It allowed you to see a movie a week for free and a 75% off a second ticket if you brought a friend, along with free medium drink and large popcorn and 1 candy. I used out of that card and it was great for dates. Then Marcus changed their rules in 2013, so I and anyone else who had the card could only use it for movies that had been out at least a couple of weeks and they got rid of the 75% off second ticket and made it 25% off. In 2015, they stopped honoring the snacks, drinks part. In 2017, they just stopped honoring the cards altogether. Still have the card just because it looks cool, and I'd never won a big prize before, so it's a neat memento. But still, I never trusted anything claiming to be a lifetime supply ever again. About 6 years of free movies ... See. Can't really complain. Story 13. My friend won a lifetime supply of toilet paper. It started as a joke. He entered the contest just for fun, never expecting to win. But then the company called him up. And next thing we know, he's got a garage full of toilet paper. The funny part is, My friend is the last person who'd ever think about needing that much toilet paper. He's super organized and he lives alone, so he's always been the type to buy in bulk and have a stockpile of essentials. Winning this contest was like hitting the jackpot for him. He got so much toilet paper that he ended up giving it away to friends and family. For months, everyone knew that if they were running low, they could just call him up. He even donated a bunch to local shelters, which was really cool. The supply lasted longer than he expected, but eventually it ran out. It was a good run though. He said it felt like a little bit of a burden had been lifted when he finally had to go out and buy toilet paper again. Story 14. I won a lifetime pass for a mini golf and go-kart place that was popular in my area back in the 80s. It wasn't a random drawing, it was a prize for a contest to raise funds for a specific charity. They made a whole big deal about it, and my picture was in the local paper. I got the pass, which was a business card-sized laminated paper with their branding, my name, a barcode, and irrevocable lifetime pass. The first time I went to use it, they refused to let me in. I called the next day to speak with the manager, and he told me the whole thing was a publicity stunt and I should feel good for having raised money for charity. I tried again, was denied access to the park. Then the third time I was denied entry, the card was confiscated and I was lifetime banned. Nobody cared. The paper that ran the article, the contest organizers, nobody. I couldn't help but smirk when that place went out of business, but they went out of business maybe 10 years ago, so I missed out on something like 30 years of using that pass. Of course I respected their lifetime ban and was always open about my story and how I got banned for trying to use the lifetime pass they had given me. But nobody cared. Story 15. Technically, I won a lifetime supply of electrician's tools and tape. My father was an electrician for 30+ years working for the Union Port Authority of New York, New Jersey. Now apparently back in their heyday, if you didn't have something out in the field or someone borrowed something, it was easier to just sign one out from the supply room. Problem was, they weren't taking them back, so Dad eventually retires and there is just a basement full of toolboxes and stuff. Unfortunate, he eventually passes early too, so we have to go through it all, and me and my two siblings find he has multiple entire toolboxes filled with the same few tools over and over. Diagonal wire cutters, combo pliers cutters, wire strippers, 3 sizes needle nose pliers, and electrical tape of all colors. No exaggeration, like a dozen plus of each kind of tool and random multiples of others too, like 4 to 5 hammers and tons of huge screwdrivers. Oh, specifically 6 full cases of black electrical tape. I think the shop loaded him up with all their extras as some kind of joke. I hope. But yeah, he passed about 8 years ago now, and I'm a homeowner and use my share of those tools on a semi-daily basis, despite not being an electrician. And I still think of him every time I see one, so it keeps the memory alive in a small way. And I keep them out of the rain and keep them oiled, sharp, so I'll never use more than 1 or 2 each in my lifetime, so my kids will be inheriting them as well. So technically, a lifetime supply. Alright folks, that's a wrap. If you like this, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share those in the comment below.